G'day guys, Matt Bowman, Outback Bowmans. We're back from the Outback. I'm at home and I just thought I'd make a real quick video and go over some of the things that broke or needed a little bit of maintenance once we'd come home from the trip. Some things that worked really well, some things that didn't, and some things that I really want to add to our wish list for things to buy, upgrade, replace along the way for future trips. So bear in mind, this was a shakeout trip for our big 6-month trip that's happening next year. So stuff's really important and I want to track it. Okay, what broke? We'll start with the car and we'll move our way back. So first of all, the awning on the top of the on the roof rack came loose and I had to deploy a ratchet strap. So since I've come home, I've gone and bought some Loctite and tightened up all of the, redone all of the nuts, including the bolts in the channel of the awning itself. And we've got nice and secure up there now, which is absolutely fantastic. Secondly, the airbag, the passenger rear airbag in the suspension has a leak, and I'm booked in later this week in at my local suspension place to take a look at that. I'm still not sure, haven't been able to diagnose it myself. Not sure if it's an airline or the bag itself. Hopefully it's just an airline. They can replace that fairly cheaply and we have airbags again. I'll keep you guys posted. Next up, the big one is the electrical. So as you saw on our trip series, the Anderson plug wasn't charging the batteries in the van, and done some pretty thorough investigation once I've gotten home, and the wiring that was on the car when we bought it to the Anderson plug, I didn't really give that too much thought. Had the car for about a year, been charging the van up, no worries whatsoever. But I got a new Anderson plug because it was a bit loose on the van at a reputable caravan repair place here in the southeast of Melbourne. And they got red and black mixed up. So what that meant is the moment that I plugged in the van, it shorted the wiring. Now, on me, I didn't check that the wiring was fused, which it wasn't, and it's melted. And I've got I need to redo the wiring in the car, so it's a massive problem. So that needs to be sorted. So at the moment, I have no alternator charge going to the van, which limits where we can go for the short term at least. Unfortunately, that meant there's been conversations with the caravan place, and they are adamant that they didn't make that mistake, despite me physically having the evidence. So ongoing topic of discussion there, which is a bit unfortunate. A little bit more on the quality of workmanship from that caravan place. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I won't be going back there, I'll tell you that much. In the car itself, no major issues, nothing needed to be fixed, just a good solid clean. The inside and outside pretty caked with the red clay that you get in the back of Burke. So just gave it a good wash. First thing I did was take it through an automatic car wash with the underbody spray. Just wanted to get the bulk of it off, and then gave it a good wash. Side note, I didn't take it through one of the automatic washers that have got the spinning brushes, because that damages the paintwork, despite the car already having bush stripes, which is interesting, isn't it? Because we wear bush stripes like a bit of a badge of honor on our four-wheel drive, but yet we don't want to scratch the paint through one of those automatic car washers. Interesting. Anyway, gave the van and the car a good wash, got a lot of that dirt off, and gave us a clean slate to really see what sort of damage or issues may have arisen over the trip. Moving to the van itself, the obvious one is the Anderson plug that needs to be replaced, and make sure that red and black are around the right way. That's fine. And the only other thing that really needed any attention was when the same caravan place installed our diesel heater, the tank goes on the back of our toolbox, and they had to have a couple of goes of getting the holes in the right position. So I had some holes in the toolbox. So a combination of having the toolbox open when I was, setting up and packing up the van in the rain, which happened pretty frequently on that trip, and the holes in the back and just like water splashing in. Quite a lot of water got into the toolbox. So I've had to take everything out, soak up that water, air out all of my tools in the sun to make sure that nothing gets too badly damaged, and then I just used a little bit of Sikaflex to plug up those holes. So hopefully I don't have to worry about that too much moving forward. But again, a little bit disappointing that the quality of workmanship was not quite what you would hope for. And I took it to a reputable caravan repair place, caravan upgrade facility, to get a better quality of workmanship than I could have done myself, and I'm not convinced that is actually the case, which is a little bit disappointing. What else happened on the van? There's a tiny little bit of dust ingress around the door, so just giving that a bit of a clean out, a sweep, a vacuum, and plug that up with a little bit of clear silicone to prevent that from happening again. Some things that we wished we'd had on the trip. I did mention the tyre deflators on the trip. Tell you what, I'm going to buy some of those screw-on tyre deflators. 8 tyres with the traditional deflator. Takes a little while, the kids go and stir crazy. And I want to get a set of those screw-on ones just to expedite the airing down of the tyres, because with the manual one doing 8 tyres, it took a little while and the kids got a bit nuts in the car. We were storing wet jackets in the van because there was nowhere else to put them. Since just installed a few of the high suction fusion lock clips to the hooks to the outside of the van, just as a place to hang our jackets. And when we're in the warmer areas, we can hang a beach towel from that as well, and they're kind of out of the way and not hung up, and we're not bringing wet things into the van and adding to condensation. Also added a couple just above the battery display unit above the BM Pro, just for my hat, just because I like to take that off when I'm inside the van, habit, and also the keys. So that is a good little upgrade as well. So that's pretty much everything from the van and the car that we had to sort of upgrade and maintain. A few wish list items. I've already mentioned the cheap one, which is the screw-on tire deflators. Next one is I'm just gonna upgrade the solar blanket. I've had a look around, and there's some good value for money options. So if you've got any ideas or any suggestions on a good value for money 200 plus watt solar blanket at a decent price, I'd love to hear that down in the comments. Hit us up. And just to give us that little bit more longevity. And I really need to get a second battery in the car and add a fridge to the car. I've got a Waco from my old car that I've just had. It's a drink fridge out by the pool, really, at the moment. So I'm keen to get that installed in the back of the car. I've got some ideas. I still want to maintain that third row seat, so I don't want to do a full draw setup, a traditional one. Also, that's a lot more weight on the rear axle, which with the tow ball weight, it adds to your weight, which takes away from your payload. So I want something that is as neat and as light as possible with that fridge installed. So maybe a future video coming on that. But having a battery in the car, and then the solar blanket that I've got can then charge that up if we are parked up for a few days at a time, which definitely is something that we want to do. Which brings me to the next topic, which is when you're traveling with kids, don't be overly ambitious around the time that you can travel. Like, one night stops are okay as long as there's not too many consecutive stops. You want to have 2 nights, 3 nights in any location, which means you see less, you travel a shorter distance in the time that you have, but it is much, much more enjoyable. It's easier on the kids, which makes it easier on the parents. So definitely learnt to have more time. And with our trip next year, we've got 6 months to do a half a lap So it should be plenty of time to be able to stop and enjoy and just be in places. So definitely a lesson learned there. That'll about do us. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you've found this informative, and if you're thinking about doing a trip, thinking about buying a caravan, thinking about going for a significant period of time, anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years, hopefully all this information has been useful to you. These are just my experiences, not an expert, but yeah. See you next time on the Outback Moments.